saving spaces over here that the ladies over here are saving spaces for the same people. And we have about 60 people standing. So if they're not there, let somebody sit there. Be nice. You don't have to sit with your church. You could sit with somebody new. I know that's a new idea. Okay? And we have 2 reserved tables, and the only reason they are reserved is because our ladies are working, and they will be in. There's 4 over here, ladies. Try a new idea. Meet somebody new.
Would you raise your hand? We need 2 places. Does anybody have 2 places? Here's 2 right over here. 2 more. Here's several over here at this side, ladies. This over at the end here. How many? 1 over there. How many here? There's 4 right there where the lady in the green blouse is standing. If everyone will please get their seats, we will get quiet and have the blessing so we can get started on time. If you would all please be seated. Oh, it's very urgent. I will give it to her. Doors when you're finished, please. Ladies, man, we got a wild group here. This is like our kids at our school. I have asked Sharon Ballou from South Shaver Baptist Church. I'm sorry, Jerry Sparks from South Shaver Baptist Church in Houston to say the blessing on our food tonight. If you'd all bow your heads. After she says the blessing, just go ahead and start your dinner and enjoy.
Let's pray. Father, we do thank you tonight for the privilege of gathering together in your name for fellowship, for refreshing, not only of our body, but our soul, our spirit. We just thank you tonight for all of the wonderful things that you've done for Jupiter Road, for putting on this retreat year after year. We just pray tonight your richest blessings upon this church, Mrs. Starks, and all the ladies who had a part. We ask your blessings tonight upon our food and our fellowship. Go with everything that we do and say tonight, and please especially bless our speaker. We give you the praise for all that you do for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
You must speak the living word, so the voice of God is heard. It's time to rise and shine. You are the children of light. You have to shine through the night, through the night. Whoa, shine. The world is longing to see the light, crying, waiting in the night to see the morning star shine, shine. And to be illumination, you must speak the living word, so the voice of God is heard. Now it's time to shine. You are the children of light. You have to shine through the night, through the night. Whoa, shine. The world is longing to see the light, crying, waiting in the night to see the morning star shine, shine, shine. You are the children of light. You have to shine through the night, through the night. Whoa, shine. The world is longing to see the light, crying, waiting in the night to see the morning star shine, 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 shine. You are the children of light. You have to shine through the night, through the night. Whoa, shine. The world is longing to see the light, crying, waiting in the night to see the morning star shine.
Wasn't that pretty? That's the Sparks girls from all over Texas. And they said to tell you it was the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I don't know which is which. We're excited to have you at our ladies seminar. I would like to apologize real quickly for the service. The hotel, we'll hear about it, but the rooms are great, right? Best we've ever had. So I guess we have to sacrifice. Either we have a good room and bad food, or good food and a bad room. So the devil has worked overtime this week and all day today. I told our speaker, I said, the Lord has something great in store for us because it has been a tough week. So we know that there is someone here that is hurting or someone here that needs a special blessing that the Lord's going to speak to. But now we're going to sing. I know you're full. Did everybody get tea? I got my tea just a minute ago, finally. So I want you to stand up. And in your book, the last page, we're going to sing Rejoice in the Lord Always. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, and again I say rejoice. All right, good. This group, you're number one. Do the clapping, girls. Lead us. Number one, from here, Susan, you're on this side. From here over is one. Here over is two. Now cough out the coffee. Push the turkey down. I want to hear you ladies sing. Group 1, do you know where you come in? Group 2? When they get to, and again I say rejoice, and they start on rejoice, then you start at the first. Is that tough for this side? I'll bring you in. All right, Group 1. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord. Group 2. And again I say rejoice, rejoice in the Lord always, and again, one more time. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. We're supposed to quit there, weren't we? Now our theme song, something that I've noticed in women are doers. And we work, get everything done and everything's perfect, but we forget to relax, let go. Your kids will be okay. I told Kelly Tokar, it's Jeff's responsibility. He can get a babysitter. Don't worry about it. Tyler's watching Jeff. Our church, we had 9 babies born at the first of the year, and so we've got a lot of new dads out there tonight all by themselves, so we're kind of interested in what's going to happen. But relax. Ladies, we are doers. Tonight, we're here to be ministered to. I want you to relax. Forget what happened today. You can smile when you can't say a word. If there's tears there, you can still smile. This is our theme verse. I hope most of you know it. All right. You can smile when you can't say a word. You can smile when you cannot be heard. You can smile when it's cloudy or fair. You can smile anytime, anywhere. Isn't that pretty? Now, I didn't see everybody smiling. Relax. Your husband will take care of it. Somebody will walk the dog tonight. Don't worry about it. One more time. You can smile when you can't say a word. You can smile when you cannot be heard. You can smile. You can smile anytime, anywhere. Good job. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, Lisa. We want to welcome each of you here tonight. We are so glad that you've all taken time out of your busy schedules to come and join with us. We've already had a good time today. At least about 85 of us did. We took between 80 and 85 ladies shopping, and you hear they had a ball. So if they look weary, that's why. And if some of the other people around here looked weary, that's because they've been working hard today getting ready for this. I don't know who had the worst job, but the ladies did a good job that stayed here, and we really appreciate that. I heard something today that I thought was interesting. Did you all know that women have 2 shapes of bodies? Had you heard that? Now, some of us may think there's 4 or 5 if you look around, but I've been told there's 2 shapes of bodies. One that's like a pear, heavy on the lower part, nothing at the top. And then I've heard there's another type that's shaped like an ice cream cone, Dolly Parton type, possibly. So y'all look around and check everybody out and see what body shape they are. While we're on those kinds of silly things, how do you all eat your corn on the cob? we're still on bodies. Okay. How do you eat your corn on the cob? Do you eat it around or up and down? Think about that. I don't know which is right, but anyway, there's been a lot of theory on how you eat corn on the cob. How do you put the toilet paper on the roll? Do you put it with the paper coming over the top? Or do you put it with the paper coming under the bottom? I don't know. You decide which is best for you and which way's the most toilet paper. Who cares? Probably nobody. I just thought that was a little bit of humor to throw in. As you can look and see from your programs tonight and from our banner, our theme this year is Joy in Harvest, taken from the scripture, Isaiah 9:3. I know that you're all going to leave here this weekend saying that you received a blessing, and I know that you're going to be glad that you came when this is all over, and we hope you take lots of fond memories home with you from this weekend. Also, some new friendships home with you this weekend. At this time, I'm going to ask Donna Van Nortwick to come to the platform and say the opening prayer for our seminar this weekend. As Lisa said a while ago, the devil has fought us tooth and toenail, especially for a week. It seems like that everything that we've done, he's tried to interfere and he's tried to take charge. We had a little prayer meeting Wednesday night, and we just asked the Lord to bless us as we plan. We get busy and we get all involved in work and getting everything ready, and we forget to let the Lord take charge. And I just want you to know that we had 14 ladies cancel tonight because of 2 tragedies in their church. I'm not going to go into detail about all this because it would take too long. But I want you to be aware of this so that you can pray for these people and have them on your heart while you're here. And they had to cancel at 11 o'clock last night because 2 tragedies in their church. Pray for our musician tonight. She fell skating Monday night and sprained her wrist and her hip, and we thought she wasn't going to make it. Almost everyone that I have talked to from the churches have had some kind of health problem, or someone's had a death or whatever. And so he's not only fought Jupiter Road, he's fought many of you in your plans of trying to come. So let's just ask the Lord tonight if he will bless our seminar. Donna is one of our executive committee members. She is the president of Chamberlain Graphics in Richardson. She does our programs every year, and we couldn't do without Donna. If you will come and lead us in prayer.
Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together. We thank you for the way that you've brought each one. We believe that you've brought this particular group together for a reason. We ask you to bless, and we ask you not only to give us a blessing, but help us to be a blessing to others. Help us to minister to each other. And we want to remember those tonight who had to cancel. You know the hurts and you know the tragedy that happened. And Lord, it's wonderful to know that we can trust you no matter what happens, that you love us and you care for us. You loved us so much that you died for us. And we thank you for this, and we could never thank you enough, but we ask you, Lord, now as we begin our program this evening, that you would help us to have a really good time together, a fun time, because we realize that if anyone in the world can laugh and enjoy and have fun, it ought to be your children, because you're such a loving Father. So we commit this evening and tomorrow to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Donna. I'm excited tonight because I have 6 special guests with me tonight. I won't take time to introduce them all individually. My sister is here from Tyler. My daughter is here from Rowlett with 2 of her friends. And my niece is here from Humble area down near Houston, and she brought a friend with her. So I'm really pleased to have all of them to come and be with me tonight. Been trying to get my sister here for as many years we've been having seminars. She finally made it. Thanks for coming, Joyce. And Linda at the piano. If you can get up, Linda, I'd like to introduce you. This is Linda Lewis, my niece. When Linda was about 2 or 3 years old, she sang church courses. and I played the piano for her. Well, something happened. Linda left me sitting playing chopsticks, and she went on and made a great musician. And Lisa gets tired of playing the piano all the time, and she wanted a break from playing the piano. So we said, okay, we'll let you all stick, and we'll bring somebody else in so that Lisa could do something different. And if you're a pianist in church, you know what Lisa's talking about. And so Linda is a graduate from Springfield Bible College. She's been a church musician for many years, and she plays for UIL competition down in the Houston area. And she is currently the pianist for a gospel quartet down in Houston made up of Houston police officers. They sing in uniform. I've heard their tape, and the picture on the front is so impressive to see those men sing in uniform. And so I recommend them to anybody's youth department because I think it would be a great example. And Linda plays for them. And at this time, I would like Linda to play a piano solo, Overshadowed. It's one of the favorite songs that she plays that I enjoy. So, Linda.
Beautiful, Linda. It's nice to hear somebody play like that. All of you know that we had a real problem with our speaker this year also. I mean, the devil started way back when. And so we were searching for a speaker, and I have our speaker's new book. I had to borrow it. I couldn't afford to buy it. But I borrowed it from Judy Whittington. She's kind enough to loan it to me. But I wanted to read you one excerpt out of it. It is excellent, except the very first chapter's on weight. So it's forcing me to deal with that little problem that we have. She says we can tighten our stomach muscles and suck it up, pay a plastic surgeon to tuck it up, or spend a lot of money trying to dress it up. But unless we are growing beautiful on the inside, our efforts to be glamorous on the outside are useless. And that's what this seminar is all about. I am so excited to hear Kathy Peel, but I'm not introducing her. I just had to share that with you. One more song, Smile a While, and give your face a rest. Okay, Baptists, raise your hands to the one you love the best. We won't tell anybody, okay? We're honoring God tonight. Raise our hands. Who do we love the best? I won't tell your pastors' wives, mom on this one, okay? Smile a while. It's in your book. Smile a while and give your face a rest. Raise your hand to the one you love the best. Then shake hands with those nearby and give to them a smile. We have to do this one more time because these two ladies did not shake hands. Okay, girls, if you don't do it this time, you're in big trouble. One more time. Now, did that hurt us? Did that hurt? Okay, good. Smile a while and give your face a rest. Raise your hand to the one you love the best. Then shake hands with those nearby and give to them a smile. You girls sing so pretty. We're excited this year. We have so much special music, and I tell you, it couldn't be any better than what we've heard. It just gets better and better and better. And we have coming before our speaker, we have Vanita Hickman, and wait a minute, Diane Ellsworth. They're from Lamar Baptist Church in Greenville, and Diane said all she did was ooh and ah, but I'm telling you, that's not all she does. You're really going to enjoy them as they prepare your hearts for our speaker.
What a friend we have in Jesus. For many years now he's been my dearest friend. Just a girl, Dad and Mom used to tell me. They said, girl, keep the right kind of friends. So many times I could have met him, I could have. For many years now he's been my dearest friend. So many times I could have met Jesus. Finally, I opened the door. Had I known then what I know now, I'd met him
That was beautiful. I don't know whether you know it or not, but all of our music, the special music, is from churches outside. And they are requested to send in a tape, and they listen to it. And we had a good response this year, and we appreciate that. I want to welcome you on behalf of Jupiter Road Baptist Church. We're glad each one of you is here. I see a lot of faces that have been here most every year. And I see some new faces. And then I see some faces of some people that took a little vacation last year, and we want to welcome y'all back too. Okay? I want to, before we go any further, to take this time to thank our leaders. That's Shirley Lippincott. Will you stand, Shirley? Lisa Russo and Mary O'Kelly. Shirley is our coordinator. Mary is the registrar, and Lisa is the hotel liaison. And Donna Van Nartwick, she does our booklet for us every year. And these ladies strive real hard to get us to this point, and it's been tough. So let's give them a round of applause. We have a lot of other ladies that have worked hard too, and we'll recognize them later. And as Shirley said, Satan has been alive and well this week. And so her husband told her the same thing my husband told me. He said, I bet you have one of the greatest seminars that you've ever had. So we're excited about our meeting tonight because there's many hurting people here. There's many broken hearts here. And so I think this can maybe be a time of healing for each one of us. When we went to get a speaker, and when we secured Kathy Peel, I got to looking at all of her how-to books. I thought, that's not for me. I'll go and I'll listen and I'll pass that information along to my daughters. I have 3 daughters. Don't you know they'd have been excited about that? But when I saw her book come out on does the plastic surgeon take Visa, I thought, that's a lady after my own heart. But in her book, she has many chapters, and one of them is on PMS, and another one is, honey, not tonight, I have a headache, you know. So, but in her last chapter, it's her personal search of a godly woman. And it is a lovely, wholesome chapter with a great ending to her book. So I'm not going to take any more time. I'm going to introduce you to Kathy Peel.
A delight it is to be here and to see all your beautiful faces out here in the audience. It's always a very worshipful experience for me. Now, I've got to find the right location. I do take tap dance, but I'm not going to tap for you. But I want to see you all. Can you see from, if I stand back here, do you like this back here? Okay. Many times when I go to speak at places, I do get a lot of looks from the audience like, who is this woman and why is she here? And so just by way of a short introduction about how I got to be here, I want you to be thinking in your own life and in your own mind, in your own heart about the story that I'm getting ready to tell you. You can listen to my story, but I want you to apply it to your own life and reach inside and see what you might learn this weekend. For those of us who have husbands in some sort of ministry, we must have to confess to you that many times after we've heard our husbands year after year after year, that we tend to tune them out. And so it was 5 years ago this fall that my husband was speaking at a couples retreat in Jefferson, Texas. And it was a lovely fall day, and I thought, I have heard this before. I'm not going to listen, but I'm going to look like an attentive wife. And so we were there in the hotel, in this lovely conference room, and he began speaking, and I got out a piece of paper and secretly started working on my to-do list for the next week. Okay? But as Bill spoke, I couldn't tune him out. He was speaking on Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Now, I think most of us are intelligent to know that doesn't mean you're going to go home and have a new sofa waiting in your family room or a new minivan in the driveway, the desires of your heart, okay? But what are the real desires that you have within your heart as you seek to obey God and delight yourself in Him? And that weekend in Jefferson, Texas, I took it as a challenge. Now, I'm kind of a spunky person and kind of an independent person. I like a challenge, and I kind of bristled a little bit. I said, okay, you want to know what the desires of my heart are? I'm just going to get in touch with those desires in my heart. And so that weekend, he had us get away by ourselves, just us and God, which was a miraculous experience in itself. I mean, how often? I mean, is this weekend just incredible? How often do you get away when the pasta's not boiling over, the children are not screaming, and the telephone's not ringing? It's pretty wonderful, yes. So that weekend, I went and sat out under a tree, and Bill had given us the assignment to write down 10 desires. And he asked us to forget about any barriers. Forget about your age. Forget about education. Forget about location. Forget about circumstances. Forget about finances. Forget about everything, and just get in touch with the desires within your heart as you seek to obey God. And we were supposed to write down 10 of those desires. So I did that. And we got back together. We finished the retreat, and we went home. Okay? I could not get those desires that I had written down off of my mind. I couldn't get them off of my mind. I'll tell you the first 3 things on my list, and I kind of scoffed at myself because the first thing on my list was write a book. Now, you have to understand, I graduated from SMU, but I had never had a journalism class, okay? I went back, though, to my childhood where I built a clubhouse in our backyard in Memphis, Tennessee, and I got my daddy's carbon papers out of his sales forms, and I wrote a neighborhood newspaper. I've always loved to write, even though I didn't major in it. And I tended to gravitate towards those kinds of jobs within organizations. And I think there's a pattern there. And as you're thinking, just listening to this story, I want you to try to be getting in touch with what are those desires? What is it you've said, I have always wanted to do that? What is it in your life, in your heart, that's like a beach ball at the lake? You might be in the lake with a child or whatever, and you push a beach ball down under the water so you can't see it, but then it pops up again someplace else. It won't stay down. What is it within your heart this weekend that won't stay down? That particular couple's weekend, I wrote down, write a book. That was number 1. Speak to large groups of women. Now, I know that sounds very strange, but this is a really exciting thing for me to be up here. But I had never done this before, 5 years ago. But I had a desire to speak to women and help them become all that God created them to be. But I said, well, God, I'm writing this down just because it's my assignment. But, just put me in your speaker file. I'll probably never get to do that. And I don't think I had very much faith. Then I wrote down start my master's degree and then some other things. But about 4 weeks after this retreat, I went to Bill one Saturday. Do you all make honey-do lists? Did you leave a honey-do list? Fix the screen door, caulk the tub, fix the faucet, and publish a book. He said, publish a book? I said, now listen, you got me into this. This is your problem. I said, I just want to try this. I just want to try. I want to help women become all they can be. I want to help moms. So you think, well, okay, you want to write, you got to have something to write about, right? So about that time, my oldest son, I have 3 boys, 18, 14, and 7. So at that time, my oldest son came up and he put his arm around me and he said, Mom, no offense, but you can't cook and you can't sew and you don't keep house very well. But at least we have a good time. And I thought, okay, now my choices are I can either go and throw myself across my bed and cry because I am a total domestic failure, or I can maximize the potential of something we do fairly well at our house. Have a good time. We have a pretty good atmosphere in our house. So I thought, okay, maybe I could write and help moms who are kind of under the pile, need some new ideas, how to maximize the potential in their house. Okay, and I thought, okay, this was the end of December 1987, so we were getting ready to turn into 88, and I thought, okay, what can I do? What time of the year do mothers most have trouble with? Summer. Everyone knows it's summer. You just pull your hair out the first day. But kids by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm bored, and they've gone through everything. So I thought, I'll write a book to help moms survive the summer. So I called a wonderful friend in Tyler, Texas, who's really a craft kind of a mother. She saves her styrofoam meat trays. You know what I mean? I mean, she is just wonderful. I said, Joy, we're going to write a book. We're going to help moms survive the summer. And she had done a little seminar in our church the summer before. I said, we're going to write a book. We're going to help moms. So Bill said, okay, let's just try not to lose too much money doing this. So we wrote this book, laid it out, found artwork. Bill did all this, and Bill's in the ministry, okay? But, I mean, he has some graphic skills, and he's also a freelance writer. We had it published in Tyler, Texas, and on March 31st of that year, all this happened very fast. It usually takes a lot longer than that to write a book, okay? March 31st, we got the first copies off the press, and I put them in my station wagon. I drove to Dallas, Texas, and I stopped at LBJ at I-20, and I got out and got into a phone booth and started looking in the yellow pages for bookstore ads. I thought, okay, now we've got these books, we better sell the books, right? So we just printed 1,000 the first time, okay, first time around. And that took, I had $2,000, okay? That's a lot of money. I can't afford to lose $2,000, okay? So I picked 6 bookstore ads, and I found them in Dallas. I walked in with a mother's manual for summer survival, our first book, and I walked in. I said, hi, I'm Kathy Peel. This is Summer Survival, and I think every mom who walks into your store is going to buy this book. And lo and behold, they bought the book. It was incredible. So after I sold pretty many that day, and I drove back, or the Canton police might want me to use the term, I flew back to Tyler. I said, I think we're on to something here. I think we're on to something. Okay, now we've got to sell more books. We need some advertisement. We don't have any more money, though, right? So you kind of get creative when you get under pressure. So we went to the library, got the microfiche, and looked up, picked 10 or 15 major cities in America, looked up their bookstore ads, and sent books to them with a letter saying, we think every mom that walks into your store will buy this book, da-da-da-da. And lo and behold, they bought. And so we had to print 5,000 more in 2 weeks. This was in a 2-week span, okay? So then I think, oh, we're onto something here. What we need is national exposure. Okay, so I'm not afraid to do too many things. I figure all they can say is no. So I wrote a letter to, some of the major television networks, and I found me a sucker at CNN News. It was just wonderful. And I talked these people, CNN News in Atlanta, into coming to Tyler, Texas, to do this story about these 2 East Texas housewives that were helping other moms survive the summer. Okay? So, this now we're about 6-8 weeks into this, and it's into May, first part of June, and the CNN van rolls up in front of my average American home in Tyler, Texas, and the cameraman and the reporter, who is, you would know his name because he was the guy stationed in Saudi Arabia, has the mustache, Tony somebody. But anyway, they had just flown in from the Panama demilitarized zone where the cameraman had been shot. And they got out of this van, and I had 17 kids bouncing off the walls waiting to be on national television, okay? And this guy, we had this nonverbal communication going on, and I could tell he was looking at me and he was saying, "Why am I here?" And I looked back at him and I was thinking, I don't care what you think. I'm just glad you're here and I do the stupid story. So they did. They did this story about these two East Texas housewives, and it ran on international television like 5 times in a 24-hour period, okay? Well, now all these women across America and around the world have heard about this book called The Mother's Manual for Summer Survival, and now they start calling me, not only from every state, but from Japan, Manila, Colombia, and Greece. How can we get the book? So now I have a new word in my vocabulary. It is distribution. I'm telling you, so we printed 10,000 more. Now this is all in 9 weeks' time, okay? This is a lot of books. We would go to the printer and get the books, put them in the station wagon, come, and the kids would put them on their skateboards and bring them into the house on skateboards, and then we would send them out everywhere. Well, we got in over our heads and realized that maybe God was doing something here. I'm slow on the take sometimes. And so I sent it in to Focus on the Family twice. Because do you all know who I'm talking about when I say Focus on the Family, Dr. James Dobson? I thought, now this is something they need to do. They need to catch on to this. Turned me down twice, but I'm pretty tenacious. And so I through a friend, I said, listen, you got to get me into James Dobson. You've got to get me into James Dobson. Through a series of events, Focus on the Family did pick up our book, A Mother's Manual for Summer Survival, and re-released it. They help us make it a little more professional. And in 1989, they re-released it, and I think it's somewhere hovering right around 400,000 copies sold. Now, this is a result of just stepping out in a little bitty act of faith to believe that maybe God, as I wanted to obey Him and I wanted to delight myself in the Lord, He put this desire in my heart. And I know in this room there are some closet authors. And you've always said, I would love to write. Well, I'm here this weekend to tell you I want to see what's going to happen in your lives. But maybe it's something else. It doesn't have to be writing. Maybe it's something else you've always wanted to do. One lady came up to me after I'd spoken. She said, I love helping people. I love taking care of people. I've always wanted to be a nurse. I think at like 45, she went back to nursing school. Because she just always wanted to do that. I don't care where you are tonight as far as age, circumstance, situation, bank account. I don't care where you are. I want you to really this weekend think about what God might have you here on earth to do. Because I'm so convinced He has a plan for each and every one of us. And it's very different. It's very unique. It is a totally worshipful experience for me to stand up here in front of all you beautiful, beautiful women. And to see the image of God within you and to know that He has you here on the earth for a very specific purpose. There has never been anyone on the earth like you, and there will never be anyone else on the earth like you. You are the only one who has the authority to express the gospel in the way God has created you. And I want to tell you, He doesn't have you here on earth to sit around in mildew. He has you here for a purpose. And I hope, that's my goal for this weekend, is to help you get a vision that you are women of excellence And wherever you are, just because you are a woman, you are in a place of power. I'm so convinced that women are we have a very, very powerful role here on earth. Now, I'm not talking about power in a sense of militant feminism, okay? We're not into that. I'm talking about the power to create an atmosphere in the home where lives can develop to their full potential. The power to influence other women, other workers, other neighbors, children, influence them with the gospel of Jesus Christ. You have a very, very powerful position. And only you can express the gospel in that position. Something really, we hear so much bad news in the United States about, oh, man, it's really getting bad. Well, I just want to tell you something I think is pretty good news. About 8 weeks ago, I was in New York City. One of the results of now, we released the Visa book, the Do Plastic Surgeons Take Visa, is my 5th book now. And it's just a privilege. I love to write. It's a gift of God, and I love my work. But one of the privileges is going and getting to speak and meeting women from all over the country. And I also now, I write for Family Circle magazine, so that's a real fun thing. I was invited 8 weeks ago to speak in New York City to all the editors, the lifestyle editors of the major secular women's magazines. Okay? So there was Glamour, Elle, Mirabella, and there were some newspapers, USA Today, New York Times, Women's Day, Family Circle, Red Book, all those were there. Now, it's so interesting that I was even there talking to them. Every once in a while, let me just take you back just a little bit. Every once in a while, somebody will pick up one of these books and they'll look on the back and see our family or something. They'll say, well, this looks like a pretty average American family, average American woman. And I'll get a call to be like a spokesmom for a product, okay? And I want to always be very careful with what kind of products I speak for, so I'm pretty careful. Well, this time, this PR company called last April from Chicago, and they said, well, we have a major corporation that is looking for a mom to speak on motherhood and family management and balancing competing time demands. And I thought, okay, I'm comfortable with that. Who's the corporation? Well, they said, well, we can't tell you who it is. So I didn't know. I just started praying about it, and we FedEx stuff back and forth, bios and pictures and books and videos and things like that. And finally, in July, they kept saying, they would ask me questions, and they said, well, do you have you feel like you can say something about women management and family management? And I said, well, yeah, I think probably I have something to say about that, but who is it? And so they wouldn't tell me until finally they narrowed it down. They started with like 10 women that they were studying, and they narrowed it down to 2 women. They called me and they said, you are one of the 2 women we are choosing between. We are now ready to tell you who the corporation is. It is Helene Curtis. Well, I told this to my children, and they just stared at me. They said, well, who's the other woman? Lassie's mother? I mean, it's like, my hair is my kids say, here's the spaghetti server. Go comb your hair, mother. It's just, that was the joke of the year to think, hair products, okay? But it doesn't, I didn't have to model hairdo or anything, They were just trying to upbeat their image of being the family manager's helper, okay? So part of my job for them was to go up to New York and speak to all these lifestyle editors. The neat thing was, I spoke there with the head of the Good Housekeeping Institute, which was a real privilege. I don't know where these people were spiritually, but we all had a passion to help families. It was very interesting. And this is something new, I got to tell you. 5 years ago, those New York editors could have cared less about family management and motherhood. But I tell you what I think has happened. These women who have now been in these wonderful 6-figure corporate positions in tall, sleek buildings in New York for now 10, 15 years. They ride the train in from Connecticut and in from New Jersey, have their high-powered jobs, and now all of a sudden they are seeing how hard it is to balance a career and a family. And they are giving new value to women who, if you choose to stay at home with your children, you're no longer a housewife or a homemaker. They say, no, you are a family manager. This is a really big job. And if you have a job, another paying job, what you have actually is 2 full-time jobs. And they're giving new value to the home and new value to women in the home. Actually, there is legislation that has been introduced in Washington that is trying to put a dollar value on the amount of work a woman does in her home and raising those children. Isn't that great? Now, I think that's pretty neat. Doesn't that kind of make you feel good about, makes you feel tired? You have to do so much, doesn't it? Do you know the average family of 4 does 2 tons of laundry a year? Isn't that incredible? Don't you believe that? I believe it, yes. It's in Harper's Book of Index. I thought, I know we do more than that. Gosh, incredible. What my passion is, whether I'm speaking to those silly women in New York, whether I'm speaking to normal people down here, New York women are, they're just different. I've had to get used to working with them, the family circle staff. They talk real fast, and I have to follow them, and I have to act like a reasonably intelligent person when I write their articles. And by the way, if you do read Family Circle and you pick up my articles, you might say, well, this is interesting. Because they assigned me, at least this past year, they assigned me my topic. So in April, I had to write on spring cleaning your house. Well, my mother called me and she said, well, this is such an interesting topic. I didn't know you knew how to clean. I had to research it. Had to research the article, ladies. Makes you wonder about who's writing these articles, doesn't it? Okay. My passion is for every one of you this weekend to get in touch with what God is doing with your life. I don't care where you are. I don't care how old you are. Thomas Edison had some of his greatest inventions when he was 81 years old. Frank Lloyd Wright had some of his most wonderful architectural masterpieces in his 70s. I don't care where you are. Maybe you've got 3 preschoolers that you're so glad your husband's taking care of. And maybe you feel like the most stimulating thing in your day is measuring fabric softener. And you think, what is going to happen to my life? God has a plan for you. And I don't know where it is. I'm not here to tell you God's will for your life, but I'm here to tell you He cares. And He wants you to get in touch with that, and that is what's going to make you most fulfilled and help you experience the life abundant that you can as you get in touch with why you are here on earth. It's a wonderful thing. Now, part of getting in touch with why you're here on earth, I believe, is your personal pilgrimage to become personally all that God created you to be. Because as you're growing in excellence and as you're making positive progress in becoming what God created you to be, that's a good thing. It's not only good for you, but it helps you feel good about yourself. You're able to love your husband more. You're able to love your children more. You're able to perform at your career better. You're able to, in the 70s and in the 80s, we heard a lot about time management, didn't we? A lot of books, a lot of seminars. I went to those seminars and I came out of there so frustrated. I'm not a time management kind of a person. Would you know the difference in like a left brain person and a right brain person? Those of you who are left brain, now I admire you because you are orderly, you are administrative, you are organized. You know how to think linearly. Those of us who are slobs, who are right brain people, no. We're more artsy. We're pretty creative thinkers. We're kind of flexible, okay? So we each have our particular way of seeing things. That helps. But these time management seminars were all made for left-brain people. And I would just come out of there saying, I hate this. I just hate it. And so I came up, maybe I was just rebelling. But this really works for me, and maybe it will be for you. I don't think the key is time management. I don't think the key is writing in something on your day timer every 20 minutes. I think the key is self-management. That's what it's about. It's getting in touch with the way God wired you and accomplishing the maximum within the way He wired you, with the equipment He has given you, okay, in your body and your mind. And so that's what we're going to think about a lot this weekend, how God has wired us and how He can work through our lives to help us become the woman He wants us to be. I'm so convinced that we as women are not nearly reaching our potential and what we could do here in our culture. We have such strong influence over our families. And I want to tell you, you think, well, if you're sitting there thinking, well, all I've got is a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, or all I've got is 12 grandchildren, that's a lot. And it's a big job, and it's an important job. And it's an incredibly influential job. The power you can have over those lives for good and for Jesus Christ. And I want to tell you, when you're strengthening your family, your strong families make a strong community. And strong communities make a strong culture. And a strong culture makes a strong country. You ladies, we are powerful people. And we're building blocks. Each one of us is so important. What I would like for you to do this weekend, in between shopping, this is a shopping kind of a group, I can tell. I want you to have a good time. But I also hope that maybe this weekend, if you don't have time, I want you to really have a great time. And I can see that's already happening. And if you don't do this tonight or tomorrow, just decide to do this week. Sit down, maybe just if you only can grab 30 minutes, 45 minutes. An hour would be better. But some of you don't have that kind of time right now. And honestly evaluate your life and where you are. I am so convinced that God, the God who created you and the God who created me, yes, He cares that we memorize His Word. Yes, He cares that we grow in wisdom about His Word. Okay? And I think as the church and evangelical Christians, we have emphasized that a lot. That God, He does care that we study His Word, we meditate on His Word, and we memorize His Word. And please don't think I'm minimizing that importance, because it is very important. But I also believe that the God who created the spiritual part of us that needs to grow, He created our bodies. He created our mind. He created our skills, our talents, our gifts, our personalities. He cares about every aspect of our lives. He cares about our bodies. He cares that you feel like your mind is going to mush. He cares that your family wants to lock you in the closet and slip your meals under the door when you have PMS. He cares that you have hot flashes. I have a friend, y'all, I have a great friend. I was with her. We were in Nashville Monday and Tuesday. And this is my partner on the Holiday Survival book and the Holiday Survival videos. And she's just wonderful. And we have lots of fun. And we went up to help with a party in Nashville. And she said, I've got to tell you something. I am so excited. I've started menopause. I thought, well, congratulations. I mean, this is just the best news I've had lately. She said, oh, it's just like a new passage in my life. I just want to tell everybody when I'm having a hot flash. It's so exciting. So, anyway, she's a wonderful example to me. Kind of strange, but no, great. She's wonderful. God cares about that. He cares about the fact that you are out of control in your household. He knows that when you say to someone, I just need to give the house a once-over, that you mean you're going to attach a snowplow to the front of your vacuum. My children's idea of walking the straight and narrow way is walking through the family room many days. I mean, my 14-year-old came in the other day and he said, Mom, my jeans have been in the to-be-washed pile so long they now have rigor mortis. It is, it's pretty bad around my house sometimes, but I've learned to kind of relax, maybe a little bit too much. We call the shower the Civil War shower because it's got blue and gray mold on it. No, that's not true. My idea of cleaning the shower is boarding it up. Just board it up when it starts growing mold, and you have a garden hose outside anyway, right? It's not quite that bad. Not quite. Almost, but not quite. He cares. God cares that your household is under control, out of control. And some of you, your household is under control, and I just want to tell you right now, I don't like you. Okay? He cares about your sex life. He cares about that. He created it, and he wants it to be the most wonderful experience that you can imagine between you and your husband. But many of you have some roadblocks in that area. I know. I do studies, and I've written about this, and we're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow because that can be a real problem. He cares about your work, your career. He cares about your relationships with your children. He cares that you're trying to be the perfect mother and you haven't gotten over that yet. It takes a while for mothers of firstborns, doesn't it? To get them to let go of those firstborns, huh? Do we want to have a time of confession where you could all come forward and say, yes, I'm trying to raise perfect children, I'm trying to be the perfect mother. We could just play just as I am, and you could all come forward. Forget it. It doesn't work. I went through that. I went through that thing of trying to impress people with my children, and it took me a while. It really took me a while. Mothers of firstborns, I'll pick you out before the weekend's over. I mean, if you're sitting at a table, here's what they'll say. One will lean across and say, well, I don't want to brag, but little Susie ate strained squash at 5 weeks. And that means her IQ will be over 150. And the other one will lean across the table and say, well, my husband and I have decided that not a drop of anything foreign shall touch our child's lips. I plan to nurse for 4.5 years. Plastic surgeons love that kind of woman. You are tonight. I don't know what you're desperate about. You may be desperate about your body. You may be desperate about your emotions, your mind, your job, your relationship with your husband, a relationship with a friend, with a child. You may just be saying, God, I have not gotten in touch with you in so long. I want to know that you're real. And you may feel desperate are you crying? I mean, we have a woman. This is not the time you're supposed to cry. Okay. I don't know where you are and what you feel desperate about, but I do know this, that God wants to meet you at your points of desperation. And really, desperation is a very, very painful place to be. Very painful. But yet, I want to tell you that it is a good place to be, because many times it is only when we feel so desperate for God's help, only when we've gotten to the end of our rope, only when we've gotten to the end of ourselves and all of our ideas of how we're going to make this work, that's when we turn our empty hands toward heaven and we say, God, I cannot go another step without your help. I'm a desperate woman. And it's then that he meets us at our point of desperation and we understand that he was there all along. He was there all along and wanting to help us. And it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. I would like for you this weekend to sit down with a piece of paper, a piece of notebook paper, a yellow tablet, a legal tablet, or something. A matchbox. I don't know. Something. Get some paper. And divide your life up into categories. Now, this is not, my categories are not from Mount Sinai. I don't really care what categories you use. These just kind of work for me. And give yourself a really honest evaluation. Divide it into some sections. Your body, your physical fitness, or your body that God has made. I hear paper rustling. I was kind of kidding when I said get it out and write it down. I think you'll remember this, but you're welcome to write on the tablecloth or the napkin or whatever. Your body, your emotions, your mind, your career, your husband, your children, your social life, your spiritual life, just the categories of your life. You may have others that you may feel, and we've got to have a little bit of evaluation here. We just need a little bit of help. And pour your heart out to God. Tell him how it is. Tell him how bad it is. He already knows anyway. But there's something about really getting in touch and connecting and being realistic with ourselves and before God about, God, I want to be the woman you created me to be. I want to be all that you created me to be. And I have this area that is totally out of control. I have about 6 of the above areas that are out of control. Okay, many of us do. And desperation, I feel desperate in some area of my life every day of my life. It's a pilgrimage. There's nobody that's going to walk. I'm not going to sprinkle whiffle dust on you, and you're going to walk out of here perfect. I don't have an 800 number you can call and order this Be Perfect kit for $19.95. I'm not going to do magic tricks up here. This is a process. This is a pilgrimage. But this is a start. And starting, that's half the battle, is just getting in touch with where you want to go and beginning. And this weekend is a wonderful time to begin. A wonderful time for a new beginning. When Bill and I married, I'm going to tell you a little story here. We came from opposite backgrounds. Bill's dad was a Methodist minister, and I came from a family in Tennessee. My family was in the clothing business and the chemical business. I pretty much grew up with everything I ever wanted, which is not a good thing always, okay? We met at SMU through a blind date and married the summer before our senior year at SMU. That year, my parents kept sending me my allowance. Wasn't that sweet? But when we graduated from college and it was time for Bill to go to seminary, he went to Dallas Theological Seminary here in Dallas, it was time for the apron strings to be cut. And so, it was time for them to say, you have to get off of your allowance at some point in your life, But we didn't care, When you're young, in love, and serving Jesus, who needs money? Right? Okay, we were excited about this new experience, poverty. Okay. So we moved from the SMU parking lot across town to the Swiss Avenue area. Not the nice part of Swiss Avenue. Not where Dr. Criswell lives. Is that where he lives, on Swiss Avenue? And I want to tell you, we had no money. Really, we had no money. I taught school part-time. Bill worked as a youth pastor. I also played Russian roulette with my birth control pill dispenser. And John was born while we were in seminary, okay? Okay. So here we have this baby. We have a baby. And when I tell you we had no money, I mean we had no money. I had a checking account at North Park National Bank, but I could not write a check because the balance was zero. Okay, now and by this time we'd moved into a little rent house, and I got to tell you that my mother was feeling real sorry for us. Okay, and I understand that now that I'm a mom. You want your kids to have what they had. You want them to have nice things. So she would do little things in her nice way. She would come to my dirty little rent house, and she would say, now, here is $35. I want you to have a cleaning service come in here. I want you to have a maid come in and clean up this house. I said, Mother, I don't need a maid. I need gasoline. You don't understand what's happening here. But this was a loving gesture. She felt real sorry for us, rightly so. Another thing, though, that she did, just to make my life a little more like home, like it was growing up, she bought us a dog. She bought us a poodle, not just a dog, but a poodle. I apologize right now. I don't want any lawsuits if you have a poodle. This poodle this was like, whatever you're thinking in your mind about poodles, fuzzy, feisty, bad breath, hyper, that's what this dog was. But it was a gift. So, I mean, we couldn't afford food, much less dog food. But we took the dog in, and she became a member of our family. Okay. So, one weekend, in our poverty, we went to visit Bill's parents, who had a lake house on Lake Palestine, drove back to Dallas, and got out of the car, and walked up on our little front porch, and in the mailbox was a book. Took the book out of the mailbox, walked in. It was the Oral Roberts Book of Miracles. This is a true story. We opened up the Oral Roberts Book of Miracles, and $20 bills started flying out of it. We really didn't know what to think. And Bill said, well, we counted up the money. It was $300. Now, I got to tell you that back in 1973, well, you know what? $300 is still a lot of money. That is a lot of money. That was 2 months' rent in 1974. That's when it was, 74. So Bill, wonderful man of integrity that he is, too honest for his own good, said, well, we've got to find out where this money came from. I said, who cares where the money came from? Just let me go to the store. He said, no. So we put the money back into the Oral Roberts Book of Miracles, left it on the sofa, and went to teach our junior high Bible study, because he was youth pastor at church. Came back to the house after the Bible study. And it was there at the Bible study that we learned that 2 boys in our youth group had mowed lawns all summer, saved their money, and they wanted us to have a miracle in our lives. So they went down to the Christian bookstore, and they looked for a book that had the word miracle on the front of it. But the problem was, Bill said, now, we cannot accept this money unless you have your parents' permission. Now, you think about it. If your child wanted to give an adult $150, that's a little strange. That needs permission. But the guys really didn't want to tell their parents they had done this. So we said, well, we have to give the money back because we just feel like that's right for you to tell your parents. We went home. Walked into the living room, and the Oral Roberts Book of Miracles was on the floor, the binding chewed, and $20 bills were all over the living room. Picked up the $20 bills, $280. The dog had eaten a $20 bill. I have never to this day seen my husband so mad at one of God's living creatures. So now, not only were we broke, we were $20 in the hole. And we had to give this money back. And we didn't have it. So, my diligent, desperate husband followed the dog around the yard with with my kitchen colander and the garden hose. I'm going to leave a lot of this story to your imagination. Rest assured, whatever you're thinking is probably true. He retrieved 2/3 of the $20 bill. We glued it to a piece of paper. It was quite discolored. I took it down to North Park National Bank, looked at the teller, and she looked at me, and she said, "I'm not going to ask you where this money has been." I just smiled, got my $20, went home, and threw away the colander. I tell you this stupid story tonight to ask you, how desperate are you? Sometimes you have to dig pretty deep. That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Is this on tape? Okay. Sometimes we have to go to a few extremes. Sometimes we have to get very desperate, and we have to be very diligent. And we have to work out our salvation in these areas where we've dug ourselves a pit. But God is there to help us. Now, the problem is with especially the baby boomer generation, which I have the dubious honor of being a part of, is that we're a real fast generation. And we want things to happen real fast. If I have to wait for a document to come through my fax machine, I get impatient. We're used to 10-minute lube jobs, 1-hour photo processing, microwave ovens, and I believe that we want God to transform us into the character of Jesus Christ the same way. Instant change-o presto. And he doesn't work like that. And it takes time, which the baby boomer generation doesn't seem to have much of. At least that's one of the big fights of my life. And when I read the previous generations and how they knew God and the deep spiritual truths, and then I think, small wonder the title of my book is Do Plastic Surgeons Take Visa? But you know what? I want to reach baby boomers. And so I can't write a real heavy book because they won't read it. But I want to connect them with the living God of the universe and help them to know that he indeed is the God who cares about every area of their life and wants to meet them at their point of desperation. So I have to put this crazy title and this crazy picture of this woman in a paper bag on the front of my book. But now, there is a flip side to that, and that is I believe God has gifted me in this. Remember, I can't do much else. I better be able to write and maybe make people laugh every once in a while. So the book is written like that, to make women hopefully laugh at me and then learn to laugh at themselves. And then, instead of crying about how desperate they are, and then meet the God who's ready to help them dig out of that pit. I want that for you this weekend. Every one of you is desperate in some area of your life, and I don't know what it is, but you do and God does. And the first step is getting in touch with that, those points of desperation, and really giving yourself an honest evaluation of how bad it is, and then turning those empty hands up to heaven and saying, God, I am really in trouble in this area of my life. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how my marriage is going to end up. I don't know how I'm going to communicate with this child. There is no way I can forgive this person I feel so bitter about, and it's driving me nuts. I have an addiction I can't get over. I don't know what it is that you feel desperate about, but God's here, and he is ready to meet you at that point. Let's close in prayer. Father, thank you for the privilege for all of us to be here, away from the telephones, away from the television, away from the hustle and bustle of our busy, busy lives, just to enjoy your good gifts of friends and laughter and music. This is a gift. This weekend is a gift to each of us. And Father, I pray for each woman here that we would see you in a fresh way, that we would get to know you in a new way, that we would get in touch and connect with you in our points of desperation and start on a new road, on a new pilgrimage of letting you be the Lord of those areas and meet us at those points, and let your strength flow through us to help us be the women you want us to be and to fulfill the purpose you have for us here on earth. Thank you, God. Thank you for creating us. Thank you for every woman, every beautiful face that I see in this room. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, I can't wait until tomorrow to see what else she has to give us. I think God's already answered prayer. She made us laugh tonight. We got a message, but we all got to relax and laugh, and we needed that so bad. And we're running a little bit late, but we didn't come here to go to bed, did we? So is anybody in any rush? We're going to move right along with the program. We're going to do door prizes now, and this is your chance to be loud and rowdy. This is always the contest to see which church can be the loudest when one of your ladies wins the door prize. So don't be bashful. If Christy and Laura will come on and make their way, or Christy and her workers to do the door prizes. And then after that, we have some more good things in store for you. While they're coming, I need to ask a question. I need to borrow a pair of black or red high heels in a size 7.5 narrow for about 15 minutes, so I don't have to go up to the 9th floor. Does anybody wear a size 7.5 and has a pair of black or red shoes on? They'll let me borrow for about 15 minutes. Hey, no 7.5 narrows, black or red. I'll go to the 9th floor, I guess. Okay, thank you. All righty, we'll let them do the door prizes, and then we'll continue the program.
Okay, if you didn't sign your name on a piece of paper and put it in this basket, you don't have a chance. We've got a few extra pieces of paper up here and a pen. If you want to come up here and write your name on this piece of paper. And two, I was told that there might be a few people that are in here twice by accident, so don't expect to win two things. Okay. All right, Sherry. Okay, this covered photo album was donated by Teresa Ogletree from Lamar Baptist Church. And it goes to Debbie Owens from Lamar. Okay, this spray was donated from Glenda Holdridge at Lamar Baptist Church. And Teresa Murphy. More?
Model it. See, this has my name.
Okay, this Christmas wreath was donated by Mabel Lord from Jupiter Road. Sherry Lake. Okay, this outfit is from Vicki McQueen of Denton Baptist Temple. Kathy Womble.
I feel strongly she's going to draw my name.
She wants to keep this one. This blue jean vest was from Joella Heath at Jupiter Road. Kelly Tokar. Yes, it is. It's more. It's got Kelly.
I'm embarrassed.
That's what I think about that.
Okay, this is a clock from Eva Lou Coots. Klutz, I'm sorry, it looked like an E. Klutz, okay. Elizabeth Jocoy. Right over here, Mickey. Who's next? This is a magazine holder or a log holder from Debbie Jones at Lamar Baptist. Shirley Lippincott. She's not in here, is she?
She gets to count hers.
Does she get to This one is also from Eva Lou Klutz of Lamar. Teresa Ogletree. Where's she at? Oh, back here. Okay, this is from Sue Mills. She sells home interiors. This is a candle holder and a little trinket box. Jeannie Province. Over here. Okay, we'll do one more. We'll be done three.
Maybe I should smart off about the acting.
No, I think I should. If I don't win something tonight, and this is the last chance, I'm not going to win anything because I can't come back tomorrow. Okay, this is from Donna Webb, Houston, South Shaver Baptist. Is that right? Mickey Blunt. Sorry, get all my things out of the way here.
I think this is fixed. This is my 7th year, and my name has never been drawn. How many have never gotten anything? Well, let's look ugly at the ones that won. That had my name on it, Mickey. We're going to sing a chorus. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Let's stand up. You've been sitting a while. I've got... Come on, girls. Come on. Inside, try without that one over there. All right, good. Now y'all try. Okay, can we do it together now? You ready? One. This is what I do with my 2-year-olds. 1, 2, 3. I've got to speed it up. If you're under the age of 25, and I will know, I want you to say where. We went to a murder mystery theater a couple weeks ago, and this girl was making on my husband. And she stood up that she was under 30, and the man sitting by me, I said she hadn't seen 30 in several years. So I will know. I know Krista and Cheryl are under 25. I do know that. So can you do where? All right, we're going to do, I have the powerful power that powered old Peter way down in the depths of my heart. Here we go. I have the power. Now, back by popular demand, this group has been asked to sing in at least 3 churches that I know of. They are here to bless us tonight one more time. The Do Right family all the way from Tennessee. Let's give them a hand.
I want to tell you a story about the Do-Right family, that soul-singing gospel group from the hills of Tennessee. They travel in a Silver Eagle with 8 rooms and a shower. And every Sunday afternoon you can tune them in on the Do-Right Hour. Oh yes, friends and neighbors, we are the Do-Right family. Do-Right family. Broadcasting over the airwaves from Nashville, Tennessee. Reach over and turn up your radios. We'll bring our music to you. And pretty soon you'll shout hallelujah. Well, you got the Do-Right, 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 Do-Right. Yes, if you do right, you know you can't go wrong. Here's Brother Thurman. Howdy, neighbor. Sister Doris and Sister Dewdrop. Oh, bless your hearts, girls. Bless your heart, Daddy. Bless your heart, Daddy. Bless your heart, Doris. Bless your heart, Dewdrop. Bless your heart. Bless your heart, Daddy. Bless your heart, Brandon. Bless your heart, Father. All right. Hold it. That's enough heart blessing. Here's Brother Virgil. Loady, 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 loady. And a boy, Virgil. And cornbreads, I'm Daddy Do-Right. No show would be complete. We wouldn't dardy late. She can't be beat. You're in for a treat. She'll sweep you off with your feet. So hang on to your seat. Prepare to meet and greet our dear sweet mama.
Hallelujah, friends. Never give in to that sin and temptation lurking in the shadows, but constantly strive towards that burning beacon on a distant horizon.
Hallelujah, mama. Okay now. That's enough. Punch Mama, Virgil. Now play the piano, Mama. Well, one afternoon at an all-night sing, they were making them rap
Had that audience clapping on 1 and 3. Oh, mercy. Wasn't too long before they hit a groove, and then the spirit began to move. Old Thurman right over the edge, and he began to preach.
I just want to say a few words about them discotheques. People's in there drinking, people's in there smoking, people's in there dancing, where they get out there in a big pile and just right around like a bunch of wild heathens. I tell you, flock, them discotheques ain't nothing but a regular Sodom and Gomorrah. Where you going, Virgil?
I'm going to one of them disco
You come
sticks.
back here, Virgil.
Okay, Mama. Okay, that's enough. Punch Mama, Virgil. Now play the piano, Mama.
Well, the tears were streaming down every face. There wasn't a dry eye in the place. One woman had her eyes rolled back and she was speaking in tongues. Oh, even the do-rights were moved by the sermon. And Daddy reached out and he hugged old Thurman, and they all sang the last chorus like it never been sung.
Well, you got to do right, do right, do right, do right. And we invite you to help us sing our songs. If you do right, do right, do right, do right. Yes, if you do right, you know you can't go wrong. Do right, do right, do right, do right, do right.
Go for another octave, Virgil.
What was that? Oh, Lordy! Virgil's done gone slow. He's exploded right here on stage, friend.
Hallelujah!
Play the piano, Mama. Friends, till we meet again, keep them cards and letters coming in. And don't forget the autographed songbooks for sale as you leave the building. Got pictures of the entire New Right family standing in front of the lavender bus. Right there in living color. Lordy, Virgil, you cut that out. You know you can't hit that note, Virgil. Friends, don't forget, look for the New Right bus. It'll be coming through your town visit. Virgil, you can't sing it.
I'm going to be in a skit every time, because every time I've been to skit, I won a door prize. I like that. Oh. Let's see where I am here on what's happening now. We have some announcements we need to make, and I don't have them here. Let me... We hope y'all enjoyed that. We had a lot of fun doing it. And she was serious. We've been invited to go to 3 places. And November the 5th, they're going to Oklahoma and perform. So y'all just don't know what you're missing by not inviting us to come perform for y'all. Okay, some announcements. Want to remind you about your telephones in your room. You are responsible for any phone calls that you make. This is always the bad part. We have to do all this dirty, ugly stuff to y'all. But this is all necessary, so bear with me. So they're using the honor system. They didn't make you pay a deposit, I don't believe. So if you make any calls, be sure that you clear with the desk before you leave tomorrow afternoon. And then we have our craft booth. Over here in the Dallas room, we have a craft booth. We have our T-shirt sales. And preachers-wise, there are a lot of things that are over there that your church might be able to use for some programs that we've used in the past and had too many of them. You can get a real good deal on some stuff in there, so go shopping. We know there's about 175 ladies here that didn't go on that bus. So, go shopping. Oh. And let's see, what else do we have? The Baptist bookstore is also set up back there again this year, and they will have, I believe, all of Kathy's books. Do they have her videos, Lisa, or do you know? Good. So you can go purchase your books, and then tomorrow afternoon, when we're through with the seminar, Kathy will be available to autograph your books. We're not going to ask her to do that tonight. She wants to have time and the freedom to mill around and visit with all of you. So get your books and be ready to have them autographed tomorrow. And then our quilt down here on the wall is up for grabs for whoever wants to put a donation in and get their name in the pot. Donations are $1. This quilt was made by our Over the Hill gang. That is our ladies who are maybe a little bit older in age, but young at heart. And they spend a lot of hours making that quilt, and that is their contribution to the seminar. And the donations from that are going to go to the Angel Tree Ministry, part of the prison ministry. And we found out that Janie Clark from Lamar Baptist in Greenville is a part of this ministry, so we're going to ask her to come and give you just a quick little bit of information about what this ministry is about. When we try to decide what to give a donation to, we thought of the prison children, and I saw a movie on TV, is really what impressed me, of the lady who went to prison, charged, she wasn't guilty, but she wound up there, and the suffering that her children went through. And we discussed it and said it's the families of prisoners that suffer, and they always are forgotten. So that's why we decided to do this, because most of that revolves around women. We deliver those children, and we love them. And so if you'll come, Janie, and give us a little bit of information about that.
What a privilege to talk to so many lovely Christian ladies. God is so good, and I guess my favorite word that describes God is grace, because he gave me his wonderful grace 27 years ago when I had a daughter about 4 years old. And I remember when I got saved, I was in the pew at Lamar Baptist Church, and Bob Keys was preaching. And people say, well, can you really get saved in the pew? Yeah, you really can, because I gave my whole life to God at that time. And I may have backslidden momentarily, maybe a month, 2 or 3 months. I led of the Lord to stop teaching, and I didn't really know why. But he gave me something in its place last year, and it was Project Angel Tree. Angel Tree is ministering to the children of prisoners. And how it works is this. In prison, the mother or father feels funneled back through the chaplain, back to the area coordinator, down to people like me. And I, last year, did not have one church, and I had 166 children to provide Christmas for. And I told God, you told me to do this. I have no power over anybody to get them to do this. I leave it in your hands to work in every heart of every pastor that I'm going to call on the telephone. And I would talk to people, and they'd say, you need to call Pastor so-and-so. And I would call. They would graciously say, oh, we would love to do this. And they say, you need to call so-and-so. And this is how God continually supplied churches over northeast Texas. I went from Princeton to Bonham to Paris to Mount Pleasant to Emory to Greenville to Quinlan. I'm talking not just in one place. And people graciously gave out of what God gave them. How it works is this. In our church, I'm just going to go briefly through it so you can understand what Angel Tree does. There's a coordinator in each church. She has a committee. They get the names of the children. They contact the care person of the children. They ask them their sizes, what they would like to have for Christmas, 2 articles of clothing and 1 toy. You are limited basically to $25 for each child, because it should not be a burden for anyone to be able to buy a gift. You say, boy, that's not much. I spend 3 or 4 times that much on my child. God gives bargains. We all know that. So we actually have no excuse not to ask him for a bargain for a child who needs God's love. And that's what Angel Tree is. You do not give this gift in your name. You give it in the name of the parent in prison, because he